Welcome to the Coming Strength and Fitness podcast. I'm Jill, coach and owner of CSNF. My team and I are here to help you take charge of your fitness and nutrition. In each episode, we'll provide you our best so that you can take your health to the next level. I hope you enjoyed today's episode with our host and coach, Alex Cottingham.
Hey guys, welcome back to the CSNF podcast. We're excited that you're joining us. I'm your host, Alex, and in the studio we have two of our awesome guests. Jill's back with me. Jill.
Hey everybody.
How are you doing? And you have to say it in a color.
Yellow.
Yellow. Say no more.
Okay.
We also have in the studio, not new to the podcast or not new to this platform, we have Chrissy, one of our nutrition coaches with CSF Nutrition. Chrissy, how are you doing with a color?
I feel like a good lavender today.
Oh, that's such a good answer.
That's a chill.
Yeah,
that's a chill color.
I'm feeling like a burgundy.
Oh, that's a deep mood right there.
That is a deep mood.
It
I'm
is.
like, yellow.
But I'm just being honest. Okay, guys, our intro question to this nutrition mini series, I'll kind of create context shortly after, is what did you guys have for breakfast this morning in under 30 seconds? Go.
Okay. I had an egg with egg whites, and I threw in a spring mix of lettuce, and I'm just going to PSA that. Do not add that lettuce to your eggs. I thought it would be great. It wasn't. Stick with spinach, people.
Yep.
And honeydew and chicken sausage.
Chrissy.
So this morning I had, I started off with a banana before coming into the workout, and then afterwards I had some chicken in a wrap with spinach and tomatoes, a little sandwich.
All the nutrients, all the goodness. I actually had a breakfast meeting at Waffle House today at 7 a.m. So I was like, I'm just going to eat breakfast
You
there.
can do good at Waffle House. Tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us how you
I
did.
had a 3-egg omelet with 2 chickens that were sliced in there with all
Two
the
whole
veggies.
chickens.
2 entire chickens with their wings and legs and beaks and all. With all the veggies, I had mushrooms, onions, jalapenos, peppers, and then I had more veggies on the side, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I try to get as many nutrients as I can. Shout out to David Bolton if he's listening, because he taught me that, and I call it the David Bolton special.
Love that.
Chrissy and Jill, we're doing a short nutrition mini series because we believe that we're going to kind of dispel some myths, talk about some truth, and just kind of hopefully help people with some content. But our first question is, what are we talking about, and why should people continue to listen throughout this 3-part mini series? Jill.
I think our goal with this series is to demystify and debunk some nutrition information that is out there. And I say this a lot, but it's very noisy in the nutrition space.
So noisy.
There is a lot of opinions. There are a lot of people that have had nutrition strategies that have worked for them personally. And that just doesn't work for other people. It's just a lot of complexity and do this and don't do that and eat this and don't eat that and take this supplement and that. And it's just confusing. And our goal in this series is to bring clarity and direction to the truth of nutrition.
I would argue out of all branches of health, nutrition is the noisiest.
It's so noisy.
And I would say it's probably the most confusing. Because I have a background in many different areas of health, but nutrition is the one that people seem to be all over the place. Chrissy, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with that. And I think, too, it's because you have to eat. Everybody has to eat no matter what. And so it's this constant thing that's going on all the time. And everyone kind of has their own way of going about it. And some people, too, they're putting things out there to make money or to really push people's buttons and get likes and get views. And I think that confuses people so frequently.
I definitely think social media is a double-edged sword when it comes to this, because you can get so much good information out there and you can get so much not good
But you have
information.
to have the ability to discern what is good and what is not, truth versus lie. Like, okay, that is not good. But and here's a dynamic that also blurs this a little bit more is the MO, which is so true, that you got to do what's best for you, which is so true because every body is different in how your body responds to dairy or gluten or whatever. But what we're saying is there are nutrition basics. There is truth that is true regardless of your season of life, your fitness level, your goals, all of that. Because what could be the perspective of a conversation like this is, oh, they just have their way and they're just going to tell everybody how to eat the same way, and that's what keto does. No. We're saying we're not talking nutrition. We're not talking diets. We're not talking specifics. We're saying when it comes to the basics, the irreducible minimums of every single person, this is elementary basics of what everybody needs to think about, do, and believe about nutrition. So I do believe that, for example, I can tolerate dairy a little bit better than my friend, or so-and-so can eat more than me. Yeah, that's specifics for you. But we're going to talk about Nutrition 101, the truth behind it, and try to dispel some of those myths out there, which is what we're going to kind of talk about in this first episode. Anything to add to that, guys?
No, I agree. It's just uncovering the truth, the facts, the basic tenets of nutrition, and trying to just kind of clean out some of that noise that's out there and give people some really solid foundational nutrition advice.
So we're going to dig into some common myths, some common things that thankfully we understand don't help people as much as maybe they think they do, or create sideways energy for them when it comes to nutrition. And I think we should just hit some of those big ones and just kind of unpack, okay, hey, here's where they get it right, but then here's some of the things that we should probably address as far as their gaps.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a couple of those that we can talk about? Jill?
I have my favorite to start with. And this is what I've noticed a lot with my, interactions with my clients when it comes to nutrition is a lot of people come from a diet strategy that is all about eliminating a food group. We're going to take out all carbs or all dairy, or we're going to eliminate all sugar. And coming from an elimination perspective, they're really surprised when I tell them, I don't want you to eliminate anything out of your diet unless you just don't want to eat it. And they don't understand how that works. That there can be a balance to having a wide variety of foods and food groups in your diet and still reach your goals, still enjoy your food, but also use it to your advantage when it comes to what you're trying to do with it. So our philosophy here is we're not about that elimination unless you have a health need or a medical issue that would warrant that. We're about limiting certain things in your diet, but we don't eliminate.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I think a good way that I like to think about it is kind of like a bowling alley. Like, you know where the end goal is. You're trying to get that ball, and you can put those guardrails up. And that doesn't mean that you can't throw sideways a little bit or the ball's not going to go back and forth a little bit. But if you can set some good guide rails up without totally eliminating things, it helps keep you moving in the right direction without thinking of this all or nothing attitude. Because if you like something so much that you think that it is a problem in your diet and your solution is to eliminate it, you are constantly going to think about it. And that's just going to be a problem moving forward. Yeah.
Why do you guys think people believe they need to eliminate these things to get healthy?
I think people have a moderation problem. Maybe they don't understand that, hey, I can still have ice cream. I just can't have that much. Yeah. Maybe not every day, maybe not that much in each serving. And I think it does come down to that all or nothing. Well, if ice cream is making me gain weight, then I'm just going to cut it out completely rather than being like, no, so maybe instead of that ice cream, I have a frozen yogurt, or I do a Greek yogurt instead, or I just cut the serving size in half. And so it goes from, I just won't eat that anymore. But what happens is you love that ice cream. And you're going to eliminate it for 30 days, and all you're going to think about is mint chocolate chip. Yes. And then when that 30-day period's over in your mind, where are you going to buy at Kroger? You're going straight for the mint chocolate chip. You're going to eat the whole thing. So it's a matter of finding ways to keep those things in your diet in certain quantities so that you don't fall off the wagon after a certain time frame and then just go binge on it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that's the question. What do you do when you have that cake or have that mint chocolate chip for the first time after 3 months of not having it? It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, hey, instead of having 2 scoops, I'm going to have a little scoop and I'm going to have a little bit of margin, rather than saying no, and then you get so tired of it because your motivation fades, and then boom, you go back to your old habits.
Right. And I think the other piece of it is almost like this moment of desperation, where you're like, I've got to do something. I hate the way I feel. I hate the way this. I don't like the way I look.
You have to do an extreme thing.
100%. And so people they are starting to Google. They're starting to go on Instagram. They're finding something, and they just see something, and they are going to cling onto that, thinking that that is going to fix all their problems by eliminating this one thing or doing this one thing. And that's just not it.
I mean, and there are food groups that people will eliminate in certain diets that are so important to your diet.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take sweet little carbohydrates and grains. They get
carbs.
such a bad reputation. They are so important. They give your body fiber, and there's micronutrients and vitamins and minerals that you get from those foods that you're not going to get from any other food group. So when you take those out, you're eliminating nutrients your body needs.
That's what I think people like, they forget that because they're like, oh, I need to eliminate carbs because of, donuts and ice cream and all those added sugars and things like that. And then all of a sudden they don't think about the fact that you don't have fiber without carbs.
Right.
Period.
Yes.
And like that connection is never made. So yeah, like they're
but that's
totally
also
eliminating
going
something.
back to what we said, the purpose of this podcast is understanding the basics and understanding truth will ultimately set you free in the nutrition realm. And here's why. If our definitions are wrong, we will never get to where we want to go. If we think, for example, I need to cut out carbs, but my definition of carbs is just donuts and ice cream, we're already behind the 8 ball, because carbs are fruits, vegetables, starches, like all of those. It's not just the bad carbs. So I've had conversations at the pool in our neighborhood. Again, people have their nutrition literacy is all over the place. And I always like to ask, like, okay, they're like, oh yeah, you work at the gym, you look good, blah, 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 blah. They start talking.
That
I'm just
you don't
nodding.
eat fruit. I'm like, huh?
And they're like, yeah, my doctor said I got to stop eating carbs. So I just got rid of all the donuts and ice creams or whatever. And I'm like, what about like fruits and vegetables? And they're like, oh, I mean, I try to eat those too. I was like, well, those are carbs. They're like, oh. And then like, it literally stops them in their tracks. And I was like, yes, like that's when I think of carbs, I think of fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
But they think of donuts, which I'm like, hey, if we had to go
processed
back,
food,
which is why understanding what nutrition actually is, your body needs the appropriate portions of fats, proteins, and carbs in the whole process, the whole clean, real versions, not the processed versions. Okay, now we can start moving forward.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going as far as other myths and sideways energy stuff. Chrissy, do you have one?
Gosh, I just forgot what my next one was going to be.
Jill, help her out.
Yeah, Jill,
you can
go,
outwork a bad, or you can outwork a bad diet. You can exercise off the things you eat.
Can you?
It depends on how many hours you have in a day to exercise. So that's just one of those myths out there. Like, oh, I had a donut, I'm just going to go run 3 miles. Like I'm going to go run that off. And they even have little graphs that'll show you how many burpees you have to do for a cookie. And I'm like, no, thank you. It makes you not want to ever eat cookies again. But the idea that you can outwork a bad diet, that's not true. That's not true. You are going to eat many more hours in your day than you were going to exercise. Unless, like I said, you're constantly exercising, in which you would need more calories to support that activity. But a lot of people think, well, if I eat that, I'm just going to work out more. And that's just not how the energy balance works. That's just not how your body adapts to food and activity and things like that. So
no, and that brings me to the one that I was thinking about, and that's like eating after 7 p.m. is going to make you gain weight.
Yes.
And I see that.
That's a good one.
I cannot tell you how frequently I hear
people talk about. You didn't know that the calories double after 7 p.m.?
They do. They just, apparently your body doesn't digest food anymore.
That clock hits 7 p.m. Yeah. I don't know how it works in time zones, and then they double.
Yeah. And that's what people forget. It's like, no, your body's going to digest the food. It's there. Yes. Like, no, if you go eat a meal and then lay down, you might have some acid reflux, but you're also like, it's just so different because it's like, no, you're going to lay down, and maybe instead of getting restful sleep for the next few hours, your body's going to be actively digesting. But it has nothing to do with the fact that the time of the day, there are people that are perfectly healthy that work the night shift and they eat at night and then they sleep during the day. It has nothing to do with the sun.
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing.
Point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What else? What else is out there?
I mean, I'm not going to pick on certain diets, but I'll just bring them up.
What about diets in general?
The D word is not my favorite word. That's my least favorite D word. But whenever you put the term diet out there, there's a timeline to me. Like, in 3 months, I'm going to do this, or 6 months, I'm going to do this. And there's rules and restrictions. Like, that's what I think about when I think of a diet. So you're going to do this thing for this amount of time with this set of rules and expect a result. And then you're going to continue to expect to maintain that result once the rules are out the window and you're not doing the diet anymore. Like, I don't know. That's kind of nuts to me.
And I agree. I think time frames are such a big deal when it comes to it, because it's like, I mean, same thing with Whole30. Like, I think you can learn things from particular structures of particular diets.
Yes.
And if you're capable of taking information and learning things from it and moving with it, but allowing flexibility, that's where maybe a diet could be helpful, or like reading something could be helpful. But if you just start something because you feel awful today and then at the end of 30 days it's over, like you're just going to go right back to not feeling great, and you're probably going to kind of put yourself in a worse position afterwards, because then you're going to even more want all this stuff that you were having maybe a misbalanced relationship with prior to it.
Right. And that's how the binge restrict cycle works. You restrict for so long and you eliminate these food groups and the foods that you really do like. And then once the quote unquote diet is over, you go straight back to them and you actually gain all the weight back that you lost plus more.
Yeah.
Because your body's like, oh, hey, donuts, how we doing?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of uncovering all of these different areas of like misinformation and misunderstanding really about how your body works. It wants something that's consistent and sustainable. It's okay to have a cookie here and there. It's also really great to eat your fruits and vegetables and prioritize protein on your plate. Like it can be both. It can be both.
So Jill and Chrissy, I have a question as we're kind of wrapping up in this conversation. How is CSF Nutrition different than what we just talked about?
So we don't really do rules, regulations, and the D word. We don't do the diets. We like to sit down with people and find out from their nutritional history, what has worked for you in the past? What do you like to eat? What do you not like to eat? What is your specific goal? And we want to work within those frames, within those frameworks of their preferences, their desires, their body, their goal, and create a custom plan for people based on those things that they can sustain forever and ever and ever. If you can't see yourself doing the diet that you're doing right now for 12 months or more, you will revert back to your old habits and you will gain that weight back. So our ultimate goal is to teach them and give them resources, teach them how to learn to do a nutrition strategy forever so that they can get to their result and then maintain their result after that.
I think that 1 year timeline to like mentally set someone up for is one of the most important things. Because if somebody is not willing to say, you know what, like a year, I need to be doing this for a year and figure out my life. I'm going to commit to this for a year and really see what's going on. Then it is, again, just a short-term goal that they see ending, and they see, you know, just maybe fixing their problems rather than them fixing and adapting their lifestyle to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I totally forgot what I was going to say. I was going to ask one more question. It just fleeted my brain.
Well, and I was going to say, too, kind of about, like, the whole, like, diet word and stuff. Like, we do have, I mean, I definitely have some clients that are on more kind of, like, specialized, using the word diet for lack of a better term, because of
the grapefruit diet.
The grapefruit diet, like because of a medical diagnosis or
yes,
something like
absolutely.
that. So I might have somebody that comes in with celiac disease and they are really trying to figure out what is going to work for them, what's happening. We're going to monitor their digestive, distress and things like that. So we might utilize a diet, so to say, in that aspect. Or like I do have a few people on FODMAP that have absolutely figured out their digestive issues because of that. And also working with doctors simultaneously. But we don't just like throw out diets and see what sticks.
I've remembered what I was going to say. Thank you, Chrissy. Is the two parts that I kind of like to lean on, which differentiates this from what we just talked about, is the individualized approach, which we just hit, and it's habit-based. It's not diet-based. It's not cookie-cutter. It's not, hey, here's your meal plan. Here's a grocery list. Here's exactly what I want you to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's, let's sit down with you. I'm your guide and I'm your coach, and we are going to uncover not just what works for you, but why. What are the habits that are triggering you to go eat 5 gallons of ice cream at 10 p.m. And let's figure that out, and then let's slowly craft a plan just for you to not just do behavior modification, but to really reframe and reshape those habits.
It wasn't a diet that got you 20 pounds overweight.
No.
Yeah.
It was your habits and your lifestyle. So we're going to tackle your habits and your lifestyle, and we're going to unwind some things that probably have taken place in your life over the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years to get you to where you are.
100%.
And we're going to unwind those lifestyle habits, and we're going to get you to a place where you can be at a healthy weight and feel like you can do it forever. So why would we use a diet unless it was within medical necessity to unwind your habits when that's not even what got you there? It was your lifestyle. It was the choices you were making. So we're really helping people with their choices and lifestyle.
Yeah, it's your grocery shopping. It's the food you keep in your pantry.
Yes.
It's for some people, it's how they were raised. It's all they know.
Yes.
And so it's just it's unwinding everything. It's taking that huge ball of yarn and just piece by piece going through
and
it.
it takes time.
Which I like what you said.
Time.
It's
so
almost like the, hey, I would put a mental framework around 1 year.
Yes.
Because there's so much education jam-packed to that. Because it's not like we have a 6-week program that they're like, it's like, no, you may need to focus on this and person B might need to focus on something else, which is why that coach is meeting with you saying, hey, here is a protein. We're going to educate on the importance of protein and figure out how to get more protein in your diet, where another person might be eating too much protein and we got to figure out a balance over here. So it's very individualized. We're going to figure out your habits, and there's a lot of education because we want to change your life. We want you to feel good, look good, have more energy, and not be dependent on a coach for the rest of your life, or look at yourself and feel the way you are feeling for the rest of your life, so that the next 20, 30, 50 plus years, you're like, wow, I not only understand, but I have the tools and the handles to move forward on my own.
Yes.
That's what we want to empower.
And I want to add to that too, because like with the habit-based approach, like I've always heard, like it takes 21 days to build a new habit, but nutrition is not like your typical habit. It is a true necessity of your life and something you revisit all the time, like constantly. It's not just 3 meals a day. It's snacks for some people. It's hydration for some people. And so like 21 days is not enough, and quite honestly 12 weeks is not enough.
It's just not
enough.
getting started at the 12-week mark.
Yeah. And so it's all about figuring that out, and the foods and the variety of food that you eat in 12 weeks. Like think about the variety of food that you eat within a year.
Yeah.
So you're only giving yourself that much time to like really learn, okay, what is the variety here, and what feels good, what's working for me, what's not working for me. And so just, give yourself that long time frame. Like it's not Monday through Friday. It's not this week.
I have a practical
forever.
example with a client currently, and, tracking along with the weight was the same. We're changing habits. We're changing what we're eating. We're changing what we're doing. We're walking more. Same weight. This month clicks over. Weight's down. Gosh,
I have one of those right now too.
It started happening after the 3-month mark. So we were building and establishing habits, and they started to compound, and then the change started happening. So if you give up too soon, you're probably just at the edge to where you were about to get some results, and then you gave up because you weren't patient with the process.
Yep. So. I've been seeing that frequently lately, and it's like, oh yes, like here we are, and then then their confidence picks up, and it's like the whole time you're the coach, it's
you're
working,
building momentum.
It's happening.
You're building momentum.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys, as we're finishing up this conversation, this is awesome. We're going to give a sneak peek into the next couple episodes with this final question on really more of like the what and the how to practically do it. And here's a question. We talked about breakfast at the beginning, but Jill, you inspired me from yesterday, is you forget your lunch and you're swinging by the grocery store, and you have
Target,
Target,
not even a grocery store,
and you have 10 minutes to hop in there and just get a lunch just for you that's nutrient dense and just what you need. What is your go-to?
I mean, you want me to tell you what I got at Target yesterday? I was like, how did I forget my lunch? I really rarely ever do that. So I was like, okay, I got to find a protein. So I go to the refrigerated section. I will eat canned tuna and stuff like that, but I was like wanting something a little cold because it was so hot. And I found packages of chicken salad, like little single servings. And I was like, that looks good. I'm going to grab those. And I was like, I need a produce. So I go to the produce section, and I'm like, ooh, this little thing of strawberries and blueberries looks good. They were fresh. They were already cut. I threw that in my basket. And I was like, what am I going to eat the chicken salad with? Strawberry doesn't sound great. I'm going to go get some pretzels. I could have done carrots or celery or something like that, but I felt like pretzels yesterday. So that's what I grabbed at Target on the fly.
How many grams of protein were in that
27.
It's great.
27 grams of protein.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was delicious.
You gotta be careful about chicken salad, because sometimes it's like really all good,
fat.
a lot of protein, and then
fat.
it's like 50 grams of fat. What in the world?
It tastes so good.
Same thing with peanut butter. Like, so much protein in peanut butter. Then you're looking at their little fat balls with like 4 grams of protein.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Anything that has the word salad at the end of it, you gotta watch the fat.
It's got mayo.
You gotta watch the fat.
But it's so egg salad, tuna salad, chicken salad. I'll take all the salads. I love all of them.
Chrissy, what are you going in and grabbing?
Well, if they have a deli counter, I'm absolutely going and getting a sandwich, 100%. But if they don't, probably I love all those like Starkist tuna packets. I love those.
They have all kinds of flavors now too, like buffalo and chicken. It's good.
Yeah, the ranch, the Thai chili, they're all so good. So probably that. I'll definitely grab a piece of fruit, either like a banana or a apple. Those are my 2 fave. And then just kind of like depends on like what's gonna go with it. Like, do I need a little dip? Sometimes I'll just like grab a spoon,
That also works other than pretzels.
That's true. I think my go-to is a rotisserie chicken.
The whole chicken, just
the
like
whole
your breakfast.
chicken, exactly. I'll do a bag of grapes, whatever, a bag of grapes.
Yeah.
And then some sort of crunchy munchy trail mix, chips,
something salty and crunchy.
Something
I'm
like
the
that.
same. Like I need a salty crunch.
Sun chips.
Some water.
Ooh.
But think about it. We got our protein.
Got
we
your
got
protein.
our produce.
Got your produce.
And then walking back and forth, getting my steps in back to the grocery store.
Yeah.
I'm getting my protein and produce in every single meal.
Back to the
so
PP
enjoyable.
steps. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, guys. We're going to continue this conversation in the second installment of this Nutrition Mini Series. And until then, we hope you have a great day. And Jill, what are they?
Legends.
You're a legend. See ya.
Thank you for joining us today, friends. I hope today's conversation helped you gain a greater understanding of the mission at CSNF to change lives through fitness and nutrition. Check us out on social media or reach out at comingstrengthandfitness.com. We would love to help you take your health to the next level. We'll see you next time.